I'm Nora Stanger. I am the Appalachian Outreach Coordinator for Sinclair Community College. And today I'm visiting with Kathy Hayes. Kathy, would you tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Nora. I'm happy to do this. I think it's a great project. I'm Kathy Hayes. I'm from Western North Carolina, and I teach Appalachian Studies at Sinclair Community College.
Kathy has been a mainstay at Sinclair for many years because of her knowledge of our heritage from coming straight from North Carolina, and the love that she has for our people. Kathy, tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in North Carolina. I know that you grew up on the mountain, so you didn't grow up in any city. Tell us what it was like.
I grew up in a mountain, or maybe as some folks say, in a holler.
Yes.
I grew up on a farm in Western North Carolina. There were 8 of us kids, and mother and daddy, and it was just a wonderful life. It was being on a farm. We always had a garden and other crops, so we always had food.
Yes.
You know, we may not have had lots of things, but we always had food, and we always had love, because mother and daddy and our siblings just loved each other. In the summertime, we played outside. We go to school. The first thing we had to do when we got home was do our homework, and then we could do other things. We had to do chores, and then we could play.
Oh, that's good. That is good. Now, your family is unique to most of the people I'm talking with, because your family is such a musical family. In fact, there was even a PBS documentary done about your family. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it was so much fun growing up in a musical family. I remember hearing music probably from the time I was born, but I don't remember back that far. but as far back as I can remember, I remember music. And I'm the 7th generation of music makers.
Oh, I didn't
in
know
our
that.
family. Yeah, there was always aunts and uncles. My mom and my dad both played musical instruments, so we got it. I say we got it legally from both sides of the family. But daddy played the banjo and the guitar, and mother played the banjo and the guitar. So they always played. We were always singing. When they were working and doing things around the house, they were always singing. Yeah. But music was just a part of my life and a part of me.
Yes, yes. What type of music did you typically play? I mean, was it the traditional songs? Was it hymns? Was it stuff you made up?
It was everything. It was what we call old time music,
yes,
ballads, bluegrass, country, gospel. We grew up singing in church. And we would go to church and always sing there, sing as a family. And sometimes other people would sing with us, but growing up in church and singing, I always remember daddy would lead songs. And when he and mother grew up, they actually went to one of the old time singing schools.
Oh. And
when daddy would sing songs, especially gospel songs, he would use his hands.
Yes.
And keep time. And I never knew where that came from until I started teaching.
Yes.
And realized that it was from those singing schools and from the music, the early music that was here in Appalachian, that people kept time to the music that way.
Oh, that's so sweet. Kathy, what brought you out of North Carolina?
Well, the first time I left North Carolina, I went to college. And then the second time I left North Carolina, when I was in college, I went to Pennsylvania and worked the summers with my oldest brother.
Okay.
He had a job and had been there for years and had a supervisory position. So he saved me a job And when I got out of college, I got to go to where he worked. It was a hotel. So there were lots of people around and
Yes.
seeing lots of people. And he'd been there for years. So I spent the summers, 3 summers with my brother and his wife and worked at the hotel.
Oh, that's sweet. Now you went to Berea College and we're buddies that way because we're both
Yes.
Berea graduates. And
Yes.
that was a wonderful experience, wasn't it? When did you first recognize or consider yourself Appalachian? And what did that mean to you?
Well, it was at Berea.
Me
I'd
too.
actually never heard it until I went there. And
Yes.
of course, they offered Appalachian classes,
Mhm.
which I took, and the music and all that. And I thought, well, I'm from the mountains, so it makes sense I'm Appalachian.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
And,
So
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when I tell my students, I say Appalachia is a people, a culture, and a place.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's all of that. And I feel that
Mhm.
I'm part of all of that.
Yes. Yes. I'm proud to be part of that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Um, when you left and went to Pennsylvania to really live and not just spend a summer, did you go through any kind of adjustments to the differences than being back on the holler?
Well, I didn't go there to live. I just worked summers there and I
Okay,
stayed
okay.
with my brother and his wife. But yes, it was really interesting because to all of them, they told me I sounded funny. And my job there, and my brother was actually my boss.
Okay.
And they had one of the old-fashioned hand crank elevators.
Oh, wow.
And my job was to take all the people staying at the hotel up and down in the elevator. So when we were in the elevator, they would ask me questions to hear me talk because they like to hear me talk and hear my accent. They didn't really laugh or make fun of
Yes.
me,
Yes.
but they thought it was funny, I guess, and
It was
interesting
unique for them.
and different. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Oh, that's cool. What
Yeah. And
brought you? Oh, I'm sorry.
the first summer I was a waitress.
Oh.
So same thing would be the people I would wait on. They would talk to me to hear me talk. So I always felt maybe not flattered, but sort of, because they didn't tease me or make
Right.
fun of how I talked.
Yeah, you were special.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. Well, what brought you to the Dayton area and how long have you been here?
Well, I've been here over 20 years.
Okay.
My husband, before we came here, we lived outside of DC in Maryland. And my husband worked at Andrews Air Force Base. He's a civilian, not in the military.
Okay.
But when we'd been there a while, they closed down the division he worked in. And what was left of that division was moved to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Okay.
Our choice was to either move or to find another job and stay there.
Mhm.
We were tired of the rat race in DC.
Yeah.
It took an hour to go around the corner to McDonald's.
Wow.
I mean, traffic was just horrendous. I can't imagine having lived all those years there. So we decided, well, we're going to go to Ohio. So here we are in Dayton.
Oh, that's good. What caused you to decide to work for Sinclair?
Well, when I moved here, I decided to take classes. I looked online and found the classes, and there were Appalachian classes.
Oh, yes.
So I enrolled in them at Sinclair. Carol Bauer was teaching those classes at that time. And I took several of the classes. And then one day she said, I'm somewhere down the road, I'm going to be thinking about retiring. She said, why don't you go back to college and get your master's and you can help me teach? I said, okay. So that's what I did. I'd always loved school. So being in school was, to me, fun, not hard, not something hard to do.
Right.
So I enrolled at Wright State University. I got my master's in humanities. And after about a year, I guess, I started teaching one class here at Sinclair, and I'm still here.
And you are a treasure to Sinclair. There is no doubt about that. You are a
Thank you.
treasure. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do
Well,
you-
one of my mother's wishes
Yes.
was that our family carry on our heritage and traditions and music.
Oh my goodness. Perfect.
I feel like I do that with teaching. I
Yes.
do it through music and other ways also.
Yes.
But I also feel like in teaching other people about our culture and what it is and why it's important is carrying on her wishes.
Absolutely. And what a beautiful way to honor her.
Yes.
What would you say is the strength of Appalachia?
It's people and the place and the mountains. I grew up with wonderful family. We were a big family. I have 8, there's 8 in my family, and mother and daddy. Lots of aunts and uncles and cousins. And we all grew up within walking distance of each other. And walking was the only way you could go to see them. No other way of getting there. So it was good we were within walking distance. But we'd go visit each other. We go spend the nights with each other. We play with each other as cousins that live close by. We play softball and games, cowboys and Indians. One of my memories, and I tease my brothers, is that when we played cowboys and Indians, I had long hair. It was down past my shoulders. So I always had to be an Indian. And I know that's not the proper name, that, Native Americans. But at the time as kids, it was cowboys and Indians, and we meant no disrespect.
Right.
But because I had long hair, I had to be an Indian, and I always had to be the one to lose the fight with the cowboy.
Oh.
So I still tease my brothers about that.
Yeah. Do you ever get back home?
I do. I haven't been in a while. It's a couple years ago. In the past 2019, I guess, we lost my youngest brother. And this past year, we lost my oldest brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And a couple years before that, we lost my sister, who lived many, many years in the state of Washington. We didn't get to see her very much. So 3 of the 8 are no longer with us. But I know they're in a better place, and I know they're not suffering because they were all sick and suffering. And I know they're not at this time. So.
And that gives you peace.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still have any family who live in the old home place?
Nobody is. No, it's still there. The family goes and visits and takes care of it.
Oh, good.
And we're hoping to get back down there at some point to visit with them. So many happy memories and so much music, and we want to keep it in the family.
Absolutely. I'm glad you feel that way. Yes. What are your greatest concerns for our people or for Appalachia in general?
I'm concerned about technology and what it has done to Appalachia. Because I don't think it's as prevalent in Appalachia as it may be here in the Dayton area. But I see small children, just probably 3 or 4, maybe 6 or 8 years old, carrying around cell phones.
Yes.
And I think of growing up and all the fun we had playing and being outside. I believe those children miss growing up in nature and knowing nature and how important it was to the families of Appalachia.
Right.
What it gave us as far as wood and coal, herbs and plants,
Yes.
growing gardens and all of that. And I don't know if that's happening in our culture today.
Mhm.
I know I have no control over that.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
parents are going to teach their kids as they see fit, which
Right.
is what they should do.
Right.
But I think some of those lessons and some of those values should be taught and carried on.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that the ones that have parents and grandparents that are older, I hope they are sharing
Yes.
some of those lessons.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I just talked with someone earlier today about how the beauty of being in the mountains, how that gives you so much peace, how it's like a spiritual experience to just be in nature. And our
Yes.
lives are so crazy that we miss that.
Yes.
I
yes.
agree. I agree.
And I took a workshop several years ago. It was actually here at Sinclair, and someone was teaching about nature and being outside and how that was things that were good for you to do.
Mhm.
And one of the things that he said was to go outside barefoot and walk on the grass.
Oh,
That
yeah.
you got things for your body through your feet that were in the grass.
Oh,
And that it was also peaceful and would help you
mhm.
as to when you're stressed and those kind of things.
Most definitely. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about being Appalachian or Appalachia as in general?
I'm happy that I can continue to share our culture and traditions and music with
Mhm.
others. I think the music and crafts
Oh, yes.
are what many people know of Appalachia today,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that's what they see and hear. The
Right.
music's on the internet. They get to go see bands perform now that they can be back and perform in person and those kind of things. But I also think it's important that they know that we're a strong, honest, hardworking, and loyal group of people,
Very good.
because
Really.
that's how we were raised.
Exactly.
And those are the values that I hope parents will pass on to their children.
Very good. Very good. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for giving me your afternoon today. And
You're so welcome.
you know I love you so much.
Well, I love you, Nora. I miss seeing you.
We're going to see each other this month, so you hang on,
Yes.
okay?
Yes. Yes.
You take care, and thank you for being a part of this for me.
Nora, you're welcome. You take care too and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.